Hi everyone. So before we get started, I just wanted to shout out my shirt because you know how pretty much every other video I usually have a band shirt on. And I never really talk about it, but I was like, well, why don't I just talk about it? So this shirt, I got it in, what year is it? In 1993. I would have been like 9 or 10 years old. And this was the very first concert that I ever went to. Because around that age I was obsessed with Willie Nelson, and that's who is in the band, is Willie Nelson, Chris Christopherson, Johnny Cash, and Waylon Jennings. So I got this shirt, and then it was packed it away forever, and then revived it, aka made it fit me because it was gigantic. It's rare that I ever wear it because it's so old and thin, but anyway, it's my oldest shirt and I love it. So to what this video actually is about. This is a guide or a walkthrough of what to expect when you take a month off from drinking. A lot of reasons why someone would want to take a month off from drinking, whether it be to kickstart your weight loss journey, to feel healthier, to just do a detox, or you might just be curious of what it would be like to take 30 days off from drinking because you feel your relationship to alcohol is changing and you want to explore that more to see if you're able to do that. So whatever your reason for wanting to take a month off, I commend you, because a lot of people don't. And whatever your reason is, it's a good thing. So should you take a month off? Most people are able to. They're able to stop drinking on day one and then go the full month and they're fine. But for other people, that can be dangerous because of withdrawal syndromes, or because of withdrawal. And withdrawal can range from, of course, mild to severe. And of course, that should be taken very seriously. For me, before I quit drinking, I took a month off. And for me, during that month, I did have a lot of withdrawal symptoms like irritability, anxiety, my sleep was weird, headaches, a little bit of shakiness, brain fog. And so, of course, that was livable for me. It was annoying, but it was livable. But for other people, withdrawal could be anything from tremors, seizures, increased heart rate, lower blood pressure, or the DTs, or confusion, or uncontrollable shaking. And actually hallucinations too. That's something else that could happen. So if you're not sure if any of that would happen to you, or you're not sure if your body would be able to handle taking a month off, then check with your doctor, please. So what if it is too hard? I know for me, I got sober March 2014. And I took that month off in November 2014. So December, January, February, about 3 months in between that month I took off till when I quit. During that time, I went right back to where I started, except worse. So that would have looked like, oh God, I had weekly breakdowns, mental breakdowns, and self-harm was a big thing in my life again, a coping mechanism along with drinking. Those are my only two coping mechanisms I had, other than blocking things out. Anyway, and anxiety was at an all-time high. Even if I had one drink the night before, that next morning I would be sweating bullets. I'd have to wear sunglasses when I went to a store, because all the bright lights and the colors would cause a panic attack. I would get panic attacks constantly. I couldn't go to the mall. I'd still go anyway, but I'd be on edge the whole time, and I knew that a panic attack was probably just around the corner. If I were to feel shaky or sweaty, that would bring on a panic attack. If I felt a little nervous, that would bring on a panic attack. So it was hell. So because things got a lot worse, I realized that, okay, I really have a problem here. Like, there's something going on here. My relationship with alcohol isn't fun anymore. Like, in the beginning, sure, it was fun to be social and made me happier and up and productive, and I felt like part of something. But then eventually it became like I needed it in order to feel normal, or in order to cope, or in order to block things out, or whatever it was. So it just wasn't fun anymore, and I knew there was something wrong. So that could happen to you, where, you know, you come to the end of the 30 days and you realize that, like, oh, okay, my relationship with alcohol is a lot more complicated and negative than I thought. And so maybe you realize that, okay, you don't have a lot of good coping mechanisms in place. So that would be a big thing to work on. You know, if bad days happen, which they do for everybody, when they do happen, or when disappointments happen in your life, do you have the coping mechanisms in place to deal with them? Or do you just want to drink right away? So, like, start to question things in that way. And another way that you might notice that it's really hard to take a month off is, like, when you're out having dinner with friends and everyone else is drinking, even if they just have one during dinner, you still might feel awkward. And I get it. I felt like that for a long time too. So that's another, you know, sign that you're depending on alcohol a lot more than what you might want to tell yourself. So you really need to think about it and question why. Like in that example of going out to dinner with friends, did you feel you needed to be buzzed in order to hold a conversation? Did you feel like you needed to be, you know, a little bit tipsy in order to be likable? Or did you feel the need to drink in order to just feel normal and not full of anxiety anymore? So that's what you really gotta look at. So this is what you can expect. Just a brief overview for each of the weeks in the 30 or 31 days that you decide to take off. So in the first week, one of the first things that you might notice is, that you're consuming less calories. So say, you know, you go out for like wing night, which is Thursdays here. It might be something different there for you, but just say you go out in the middle of the week for like after work drinks. And then you also go out Friday nights to go see a live show. And then Saturday as well with another group of friends. And then Sundays, you know, maybe you'll have like a mimosa at brunch or whatever, you know, what people do. So add all of that up. Oh, and you're also probably not eating the healthiest when you're drunk. For me, I live in Nova Scotia, poutine is big and donaires are big here. So, and that's usually what we crave, at least Haligonians, when we drink and get drunk, and then later that night, you know, we're probably gonna have a donaire. So, I mean, not even including that food, like just the drinks alone in a span of a week could be an extra like 2,000 calories that you're consuming, which is around the same amount of calories that like a person would eat in a day. So cutting that out, you might notice some weight loss, or the beginning of it at least. So next thing you might notice in the first week is increased hydration. Alcohol is a diuretic, which means it causes you to pee a lot more than if you were drinking non-alcoholic beverages. So if you drank 200 mils of beer, you assume you'd pee out 200 mils, right? Okay, well, no. You'd actually urinate about 320 mils. Alcohol interferes with the brain mechanisms that regulate the water level in the body, and it reduces how much ADH, antidiuretic hormone, you make, which increases the amount of urine you produce. And sure, there's usually hydrating liquids mixed into boozy beverages, but that's usually not enough to offset the hydrating or the dehydrating effects of alcohol. So it's super easy to become dehydrated when you're drinking. Next thing you'll probably notice in the first week is that you'll get better sleep. So you know how when you're drunk and you go home and you pass out and you are sound asleep. You think that's probably good quality sleep. Well, it isn't, because you go straight to deep sleep. You pretty much skip REM, or the rapid eye movement cycle of sleep. So a healthy night of sleeping would be about 6 or 7 cycles of REM sleep that you would experience throughout the night. But when you're drinking, you might get like 1 or 2. And skipping that REM sleep stage is associated with memory problems, higher risk of obesity, and increased inflammatory responses, which can wreak havoc on your entire body and your mind. So during the first week of sober sleep, you'll probably notice you're more productive in the daytime, and you can concentrate and problem solve a lot better because better sleep. And sleep also helps to balance your hormones, which is huge in regulating your appetite, which then of course can help you stick to a diet or a new way of eating. Plus, your emotions are probably a lot easier to control when you've had adequate sleep. Into week 2, your digestion will probably start to improve around this point. So heartburn and acid reflux probably start to get a lot better because the lining of your stomach is healing and stomach acid production is stabilizing. And I'm sure we know this, but alcohol irritates your stomach lining. And then add on, greasy, heavy food, high carb food on top of that after a night of drinking will further mess up your digestion. You might also notice that you're saving money. This, of course, varies greatly. I know for me, when I was drinking, I was very poor. Poor to the point of sometimes I didn't have a place to live sometimes. Sometimes I was staying at a friend's house on their couch or whatever. And a lot of times I had to choose between, paying my phone bill or buying groceries. So I would pay half my phone bill and eat Raisin Bran and Mr. Noodles until payday. But then there's other people who can spend literally hundreds, thousands of dollars. But if we were to go back to the previous example, how I said, say you go out midweek with work people after work, colleagues after work, and then Friday night, Saturday night, you go to the club, say, or you go out to the bar for live music, whatever, and then Sunday brunch with your friends or whatever. Say that happened. So you're looking anywhere from, $100 to $200 a week that you're saving by not doing those things. And I don't really know because I haven't bought alcohol in so long, but whenever I go out with friends and I look at their bill compared to mine, when I know we ate the same thing, their bill is like insanely higher than mine. And I'm like, man, that's just after like 2 drinks, their bill's like double. Like that's insane to me. So you're saving money. So in week 3 is when you probably will start to notice the effects of fewer calories eaten and the effects of better sleep. So you will probably be more productive. You might start to feel like generally happier because of the improved concentration and improved cognition function and fewer calories consumed, and like healthier food choices too, usually. Because you're not like eating poutine and donair at 3 a.m., so like you're probably gonna start to just feel generally better overall, and you'll notice that a lot more in week 3 when it's really starting to take effects. So something else you might notice is blood pressure is starting to be reduced. So when you drink, eventually, like slowly over time, your blood pressure could start to get higher and higher. So at around 3 weeks of not drinking, you'll probably notice that your blood pressure is starting to go back down and starting to get normal again. And we can imagine how good that would be for your body when you have reduced blood pressure. And so what that would look like is decreasing your blood pressure, decreases your risk of heart problems and stroke, improves kidney health, and avoids other serious health problems, of course. So overall, it's a really, really good thing. And like, even if you don't even notice that you have any blood pressure problems, you might be like, oh, who cares, like whatever. It's still doing something to you. And like the longer you go, I don't know you. You could be a normal person where you have like a couple drinks a week and then you're fine for the rest of your life and your blood pressure never changes. But I don't know, maybe you could be someone who you might be more susceptible to your body going crazy over adding alcohol to it for a long period of time. So into week 4, the very last week, one of the things you might notice is that you are starting to get better skin. And I know a lot of people might not really care about this. I did. And I didn't think I would care either because I was like, okay, I'm not even gonna really notice. But I friggin' noticed. And a lot of it comes to you're no longer like super dehydrated. So one thing that I tell people when they take a month off, I suggest to increase your water intake as well. Well, because you're not really drinking for like, for hours every Friday night or whatever. So like increase your water intake. So along with that, and along with like not drinking alcohol that strips your body of hydration, you'll notice, your skin starts to look a little bit more glowy or like less fine lines because you're more hydrated. So the next thing you probably won't even notice because it's your liver. But the longer, and really it depends on the health of your liver and all that kind of stuff. But generally speaking, your liver will start to like go back to healthy, normal function after about 1 to 2 months of not drinking. And so the liver, we all know, it's a great organ, and but what does it do? The liver plays a role in over 500 vital processes, which is crazy. I had no idea. Over 500 vital processes like helping fight infection, storing minerals and vitamins. Did you know that? Or did you just think it was a filter? Because I just thought it was a filter. But it stores minerals and vitamins. It removes contaminants. That's all I thought it did. And it maintains hormone balance. So giving your liver a rest will allow it to do its job. Also, liver fat can be decreased by 15 to 20% 1 month after your last drink. That's amazing. And I know for me, I noticed that I rarely got sick when I quit drinking. And after learning, a bit about what the liver does, that makes sense because, you're no longer putting poison in your body. Then that could in turn make you healthier overall, makes you not sick as much. Maybe I'll do a video on that because that's super interesting and I want to learn how that happens in more detail. Let me know, would you want to see a video about that? Because I do. So after that month is up, those are all the awesome things that you will start to notice. Basically your liver, your stomach, your skin will be happier, your wallet will be happier, you'll be more productive, have better sleep, all that kind of stuff. So overall, it is definitely worth it to take 1 month off from drinking. And in my opinion, I think it's a good idea for pretty much everybody, unless you have like a serious alcohol problem where withdrawal could be life-threatening. But for most other people, I think it's a really good idea to take, a month off from drinking once a year, a couple times a year, just like as a good overall reset for your body, especially as you're getting older too. Because, we just need to be more healthy in general, I noticed, as you get older. And I did want to add that there's something powerful to saying no to yourself, like no to drinking, even if it's just for a month. There's something powerful about that. I used to think that saying yes to myself with everything I ever wanted was self-care. And I was very, very wrong. Saying no to yourself shows a level of compassion and love because you know what's best for yourself in the long run, not just like instant gratification. So it might be really hard, but just know that the most loving thing you can do for yourself sometimes is to say no. And another wish that I have is that if you do go back to drinking after a month, which most people would, I hope that you go back to it with a new perspective. Maybe you're just used to saying no to drinks over that month, so hopefully it just carries over. Maybe you realize that you don't need to drink every single time you go out for dinner. you know. Or maybe you realize that like, oh, you don't really need to have drinks with coworkers after work. Maybe you just don't. Maybe you just have like a delicious non-alcoholic beverage so that you won't be hungover for work the next day. You know, just little changes like that. They really do make a difference. And honestly, like it really all comes down to, are you and your close friends and family happy with what you're doing and or how your relationship with alcohol is? Like, are you okay with it? If you are, then that's amazing. And that's really all I ever hope, is that you're happy either not drinking or happy drinking, or, you know, everyone in your life is like, yeah, no, you're cool. You don't got a problem. You're good. That's great. Then continue doing what you're doing. But if you do realize some things after it, then that's great. And that's like your first step into exploring more of how you could cut back even more or cut it out completely in your life. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you did like it, please give it a thumbs up and please subscribe. And I don't really have a set schedule as to when I put new videos out, but because I sort of like go through spurts of like, oh, I want to put out all this content, and then I don't put anything out for a long time, and then I put out a whole bunch. That's just me, and it's all around my mental health and like how productive and happy I am overall in general, honestly. So subscribe anyway, please, because then you'll, and then do that little notification thing so that when I do put out a video, you get a notification. That would be super cool. I do that all the time for I have so many notifications on my phone, it's crazy. Anyway, that's it. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave a comment below if you have anything else to say about it, and until next time, see ya. Hi everyone. Oh, no. Hi everyone. I know it's been a while. Oh, no, let's not start with that. Hi everyone. So before we get started, I thought it would be a cool idea. No. Hi everyone. Before we get started, I wanted to, okay. Hi everyone. So